Yes, hello, our viewers. We come back to you once again. We want to thank you for watching Euroforum. Moses Mugisha are my names. I'm right here in Oslo, Norway. We want to thank you for the following, the comments, the feedbacks. Such keep us going. Yes, today we come to you again with yet another topic. As we've pledged before, that we shall have a series of topics, discussions, interviews with Ugandans all over the world. So today we come to you again with a topic in line with a reflection of how life in the diaspora has influenced us Ugandans.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, we understand that diaspora is such a broad word. There are Ugandans in the US, Europe, South America, Asia, and of course, outside Uganda, there are countries in Africa. So we just want to throw a light on how that influence has impacted our lives, both positively and, of course, negatively. And with me, I have a colleague from Denmark, Tom, and I'll request him to say hi to you viewers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from the different parts of the world, wherever you are. It's such an honor to be back. And for the first time, we're having a program in English. Normally, we've been having our programs in Luganda, but right now we're having them in English. And it's always good to do something different and also be able to do something for other followers who don't understand our local language. Today's topic, well, like Moses has said, we're talking about some of the things we've learned ever since we came to the diaspora, wherever we are. And of course, for me, I'll say it's a personal opinion, and I have my own opinion, and also Moses has his own opinion.
That's
and
right.
Also the viewers out there, you all have your different opinions. So don't take our opinions to be the right ones, the correct ones, the exact ones. They're just personal. For me, I'll just say thank you to all people who follow Euroforum UG. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you to our followers. Just go on, subscribe, follow, and keep all the comments coming in. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Tom. And just to add to Tom's voice, I'll in a special way, thank our Ugandan friends. When I say Ugandan friends, I want to believe that Ugandans are all over the world, and Ugandans have friends from the different countries where they stay. They are married to those people in those countries, and of course have kids who probably actually do not understand Luganda. And of course, we will not skip this aspect that there are so many Ugandans that are born and brought up in Europe, America, and do not deny the fact that they're Ugandans, but they do not understand any of the local languages. And they would really love to follow our programs, because when you share or create a watch party on Facebook, it is not selective. It goes to anyone on Facebook. So, and I've had my workmates here and friends who are Norwegian asking me, okay, Moses, we saw you yesterday, but I tried to chip in and I couldn't bear, and I could barely understand a thing. So, and of course, I try to understand, but of course, some things have to be as they are till when the right time comes. And we think that today it's time to have a groundbreaking show to chip into the English version of Euroforum. Yes, the topic today is more on personal opinion, like Tom has put it. And actually, in my opinion, if I have to use one statement to summarize my life in Europe, I will actually say that my observation is that Europe is built on, sorry, actually, I will not generalize, I will say no way, because of course I have friends all over Europe that tell me the same. But to speak with facts, that I can defend, I will say no way. No way the system and society is built on an individual kind of structure, as opposed to back home in Uganda. Uganda, things are more communal, as probably most of you know. And anything I'll share here for today, it spins on that. When it comes to the mindset, when it comes to the education system, when it comes to the society values, the morals, and of course, what we always want to use, the polite aspect of life.
Yeah.
And some of us tend to say that Norwegians are not polite. Some believe that way. But of course, it is in view of how you've been brought up. Our culture has shaped us in a way that you have to mind what is in somebody's plate, even when you're not sure or there is something in yours. And so in viewing things, we end up thinking that those who don't believe like us are impolite. But in my observation, both cultures are polite in their own perspective. Yeah, so actually, just to throw a guideline on how actually I view these things, but of course there are detailed discussions on the education system, the culture, when it comes to the religious aspect, which is mostly discussed in the different societies, both back home and here. But of course, it also comes back that the way they discuss, for example, politics, religion, the education system, of course, it's built, but of course, people fall into it. It's more on what do I think? What do I believe in? What gives sense to me? And this is where we think sometimes they are not polite. Because when someone tells you, I do not believe in God, I don't have religion, you think it's rude to you. But he's only expressing his opinion. Because he's brought up believing, speak out your mind. Yeah, so I don't know what your view is about the general picture of how the Danish system or generally the European system, as the observation has been.
I think for me, the Danish system is not any different from the Norwegian system. It's basically around the same, the Scandinavian system, whereby people, some of the things at least I have noticed about these countries, the people love their countries despite of any politician in power or any politicians that are running the country. That's why you find flags flying in different homes of people and them celebrating days, national days, they have that love for their country, which I think it's not something that we've been taught back home in Uganda. I don't know why. I don't want to point fingers to anybody. I don't point fingers at anyone that it's so and so, but the love these people have for their countries supersedes the way we do it in Uganda. So for me, and also, of course, there's what they call self-belief. Here, people have self-belief in themselves. Of course, even in Uganda, it is there, but the rate at which it is here, where people know that they can be whatever they want. They have that belief. You find a kid who is in, let me say, 12 years, but they already know that I'm studying to be a nurse, I'm studying to be a doctor. And I'm like, you're just 12 years old. Like, how do you know these things? I was 12, I didn't know anything about this. So their emphasis, even in high school, you'll find they'll take a few subjects, but with a focus on what they want to do. That, oh, I want to be a lawyer. I have to do mathematics. I have to do literature. I have to do English to be a lawyer. To be a doctor, to be a pharmacist, I have to do a lot of chemistry, a lot of biology. Even when they fail one particular subject, they will try and repeat only that subject to get the points that will take them to their dream, which is different from what we have in Uganda, whereby you study 21 subjects. I hear now they're reduced, and you don't even have an interest at all, till maybe A level. Even when you go to A level, You wanted to be a doctor, but because you failed maybe biology, you'd have to drop the biology and get another subject that maybe wasn't very badly off, or something else. So for me, I believe that the education system and the self belief here is really, really much better than back home.
Yeah, actually, Tom, we seem to be reading from the same script, but of course, like you pointed out, that Norway and Denmark are not different.
They're the same.
I've gotten the privilege of working with teens, and those slightly above what we call in Uganda secondary school.
Yeah.
And here it's Uganda. And one thread that goes through these two groups of students is there is something they preach, teachers, that you are unique, you are yourself, no one resembles you in this world.
Yeah.
So be yourself, don't fight to fit in. Be yourself, the world will accept you as you are. And of course, the same thread goes to the adults. My workmates in the different jobs I've worked, they also have this kind of self-esteem that is built on fundamental values of self-belief, self-appreciation. So, and my observation that if you found the same observation with people above 30, and you've got the same for those slightly above 20, and then the 15s, and then of course I've gotten a chance to interact with people working in the kindergartens, and it's the same theme that goes on. So what have I learned from this is that what we see as products of decency, self-belief, self-esteem, they are not actually a surprise, or they are not just circumstantial, they are not products of circumstance. There is a system that is built from way down when the child is still an infant. And I think, in my observation, this I've come to realize that it gives a striking difference between the two countries, that is Uganda and Norway, and generally speaking, Africa and Europe. Because this aspect of the aspect of self-belief and esteem, and knowing that Moses, I'm unique, I may not be as light-skinned as Tom, I may not be as tall as Tom, but there was no mistake. Most so Africa, and particularly Uganda, countries built on Christianity and maybe Islam, where we believe that this world was created by only one supernatural being, and that's God. So it should be easy for us to understand that if I'm light-skinned, I'm dark, I'm this, I'm that, that is you, unless you want to profane God, that is somewhere made a mistake, creating you the way you are. Then you should easily believe that you should not try to fit in, not be someone. So that alone creates a very huge difference, and it, in a way, impacts both societies and generally the economies. Because this independent mindedness, it's actually what we lack, in my opinion. So before I came to Norway, I had this people speak about how Europeans, Americans think, how they see things, and I had never gotten a chance of speaking from personal experience. Now I have it, and if you ask me one thing that ought to be changed back home, I'll tell you the education system. Yeah, so in that, I realized that we may discuss a range of issues about societies where we live, but they, in a way, spin on the same values. The only difference is that, of course, we need to brainstorm on how to come to this score.
For me, of course, it's a very wide topic with very many different views. But for me, some of my personal views that at least I've learned, some of the characters I've attained ever since I came here, I've not been here for, it's not at least 5 years. I would say I think I've become more time conscious. I don't know why, I don't know when, but I'll give an example. You know, you're supposed to be at work at 8, and let me say you take a train. There's a timetable for a train. Even if it is a bus, there is a timetable. You don't be there at that particular time, somehow you will miss it. And then they will not understand. I know even people in Uganda will say, oh, even us, we're supposed to be at work at this time, we don't really care. But then here, there is a time, it's a specific timetable that, I'll give an example. You will find people, a person, let me say, at a particular bus stop every single day at 7:20 a.m. every single day, because that is the bus they take to work.
And have you realized that you've made friends on the bus?
That
Just
is
by
the
virtue
difference.
of the fact that you take the same bus.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know about the friendship, but then at
No,
least the
actually,
people that.
not really friends as the word stands, but
Yeah,
at least
I know.
having
Yeah,
someone.
and of course, yeah, it's
Yes.
also depending on the culture of the country. But I'll give an example. Then for me, there's a person that I see every single day at 7:35 every single day, and you meet that person maybe maybe in the evening or at the train station. Like, somehow you become time conscious. Even your mindset that if you get a chance of going back home, you'll start getting angry at people, whereby you say, let's meet at 4 p.m. maybe do this, and then at 4 p.m. is when they're leaving their homes, or that's when they'll tell you, oh, there's traffic jam, and then you feel like, come on, you didn't know there would be traffic jam, you didn't prepare enough. So somehow this system teaches us to be time conscious. It's not something that they say, oh, you're going to do it like this. Because of the way things are running in these countries, everything is on time. You just do that. Secondly, because of time, you also get value for your job. I'll give an example. You will work. You will, in Uganda, you'll work, and then let me say from 8 to 5. And then it's something that is the same thing every single day. You like, it's boring and all those things. But here, even we have people who work different times, but they have value for their job. They know I am working 8 hours and I am being paid per hour. Most jobs, that's how they do it here. And if I work 5 hours, I'll be paid 5 hours. If I work these hours, I'll be paid these hours. So there is that value for your job. Even so, you end up, we have people who end up working, let me say, different jobs, maybe 2 jobs, and they're counting everything with, they're counting their money on time. They know I'm doing 15 hours a day in here and here, there and there. So somehow there is that value for your job because of the time, and then because you are paid per hour here. I don't know what your opinion about that.
No, actually, it's more or less the system here. But maybe to add on what you've just pointed out about the value for time.
Yeah.
I've actually seen more of what the value for time is when it comes to use of public transport.
Yeah.
And I tend to crack a joke that here you get to realize that even a second can cost you money. So the fact that here it's a system that values everybody equally, so there are no such exemptions that this one has a right to keep a train waiting because it's so and so. He works somewhere.
Yeah.
So here, regardless of who you are, if the train is leaving at 7:30, a few seconds 7:30, or just a few seconds after 7:30, it leaves.
Closing. Yeah.
So regardless of who you are. So in this, I've got to learn and understand more what really the value of time is. The 24 hours we have in a day. So it can be 1 minute or 5 seconds that can cost you 500 crowns, can cost you a job, can cost you, because of course if it happens several times, like in Uganda, of course, given who you know at your workplace, how you came in, and maybe who they think you are, you're probably irreplaceable according to the boss. So if you come late today, the other day, and the other day, of course, some people will always come late back home, and nobody cares, given the influence they have, given how they came in, given how their status is. But I think here, if it so happens several times, then chances are very high that you miss a job. It comes back to a bit of time. And of course, the aspect of, regardless who you are, the train, you can miss a train. So it also brings in the value for people in society, regardless of who you are. That I've actually appreciated so much in this country here. And it's one thing, of course, like we believe on Euroforum, that we may not have the capacity to change the whole village at once, the whole municipality at once, or the whole nation at once. But we, within our means, we can be the light to light the candles around us. So some of these aspects, like the value for people equally, I've actually copied and tried to share back home. I try to actually share with the people around me. And I strongly believe that some of these things may be in a way or the other of impact today or maybe some years to come. By the way, if we may just digress a bit to the aspect of culture and religion, because of course these are fundamentals in every society. What has been your observation on how a typical Danish perceives religion or the cultural beliefs?
It's a wide one, but for me, I'll start with the religion. Honestly, people here are not that very much religious compared to Uganda. They have religious days that they love very much. Most people go to church on the 24th of December to celebrate Christmas. And they have those days, Pentecost, whatever, that the public holidays. But there are not people who go to church every day. You'll find out that someone goes to church once in a year. Then you'll even find someone who tells you, I don't believe in God. And they're respected. Their opinion is respected. And then others who say, they will say, I never go to church. I don't go to church. For what? Whereas back home, we go to church a lot. We believe in God a lot. You find churches everywhere, which I have no objection to it. And because for one, I go to church, so I have no objection to it. And you find people spending a lot of time in church. You find churches growing up, like they're mushrooming especially in the ghetto areas, in areas where people are not very well off. There's so many churches and people are spending a lot of time in church, and some not working, and then they're expecting good things to come out of that. So religion it's not so much hyped here. It's not so much, it is not overrated the way it is back home. Culture also, it is I'll talk about, let me say, marriage, because it's also part of culture. Back home, at my age, back home, I would be under almost gunpoint to get married. Like, when are you getting married? When are you marrying someone's daughter? But here,
from your aging,
I'm aging. Your parents, your grannies, your relatives, everyone
the
is
girls have a
asking you.
timeline.
So yeah.
Before I make 25, I must have a kid.
Yeah. So, but here, people don't give a damn. Like, if you want to get married, it's okay. You find people at 20 getting married, and that's their personal opinion. They don't. It's fine. And then you find people who are 30, people who are, and others even choosing, I'll never get married. And then they're okay in society. You find a politician who is maybe 45 and he has never married, he has no kids, he or she, they don't have kids. And society doesn't judge them. And they're okay. They're living, And so somehow, actually, many people, when we come here, you'll find that 50% end up not being in a rush of getting married and everything, because society doesn't move like that. They don't judge you like that. So it is more of a personal opinion, a personal desire that, okay, I want to get married now. Yes, let's do it. And then secondly, the exaggeration of marriage, like celebrations. You find here people, they will wake up, dress up, not very fancy clothes, or a few, maybe the bride has, the wedding gown and everything, and then they take their car, or they take a train and go and get married at the church, and then they go with 15, 30, 20 friends, and they go to a restaurant, or they go somewhere and eat, and that's it. They don't have to spend a lot of money. In Uganda, it is a fortune for my brothers and sisters to get married. You spend a lot of money
It's
to
a
get
dream
married.
country.
It's a dream country, and people contribute, and the same people that contribute are not going to help you. They're not going to contribute when you are maybe buying a house, or building a house, or starting up a business, but they will contribute a lot of money for a wedding. So for me, that is something else that I have learned as well here, that I don't think if I'm to get married, I will do things the Ugandan way. I will spend all my money the Ugandan way. Of course, I would maybe want to maybe go home and do something for my people because they love it. But then I don't think I'll be okay, doing it. That's my opinion.
Yes, thank you, Tom. Actually, culture and religion, two actually sensitive topics,
Yeah,
I've found really hard to just chip in
yeah,
if you're not really careful enough. There are Ugandan friends here who have argued it out.
yeah,
It would be pointless to compare the Ugandan system,
yeah.
at least from culture-wise and maybe religious-wise, with the Norwegian system. You would rather compare the Ugandan system and the American, or the Ugandan and the British. Reason being that there is a lot, our policies, our political policies, governance policies that are more built on the basis of the British system. That maybe there are things that we do.
Because they're our colonizers.
Picking them from the colonial masters. But still, I still personally argue, of course, that I respect. But I still argue it out that over the years, technology has been upgraded.
Yeah.
And over the years, humanity has evolved. So there are things that people used to do in the 1800, and now there are no more. There are creatures that have got extinct. So the aspect of change should be more of a basic need as we speak. So issues to do with culture, like you pointed out, a wedding, it still, in my opinion, comes back to how the society was built.
Yeah.
I recently had a colleague who got married last month. And of course, the fact that I'm not so vast about these basic things, how they are done in this culture, I tried to carefully ask him what his expectation would be from a workmate like me when it comes to contributions and maybe playing any role on his wedding. And like Norwegians are, he was very honest with me. Actually, I went an extra mile and asked if I contributed like 1,000 crowns or 2,000. He told me I would take it, but I would feel undeserving for it. Yes, you are a workmate, but the best I expect from you, given our ties for now, is a gift. So if you presented it in a form of a gift, I would embrace it with arms open. But telling me that you're contributing to my wedding, actually, even my closest friend, or maybe my best man, I wouldn't expect that, because him alone being a best man is going to spend a lot. And you remember, usually it's more of family and maybe those. So, and if I just compare this back home, someone actually sends a message. Someone you went to school with in senior one. If he has your contact, he'll send you a message if you can contribute. Okay, understand? And maybe I would also do the same if I hadn't got this other perspective of life. So, and actually, these are some of the things that we usually do over the time, but probably we've never stopped to find a personal opinion. From the time I've been here, yes, I was this independent-minded person way back from Uganda, but I've become more independent-minded. for the time I've spent here. What's my reason for what I'm doing?
Yeah.
One person who is not led by masses, because I also believe at times that I can be one of the two right people of 10.
Yeah.
8, maybe, of course, democratically it should be majority. But I've come to believe that you can be one of the two right people and the 8 are wrong. Not because they are all wrong and you're the only right ones, of course, being it may sound a bit braggart and proud, but
Yeah.
I believe that back home, given our structure of community upbringing,
Yeah.
we tend to be too loyal, even in opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, you may find 8 people believing in something and 2 are on the other side. But in the real sense, out of 8, it is only 4 that know why they are believing in that. The other 4 may be just too loyal to the other 4. They may probably have no time to reason out things. And others may be having too much confidence in the other 4. That if Tom believes this, I think he's always right. He's a smart guy. And this is what I've actually realized in the American system. A kid will challenge you out. I mean, there is this popular question of why. Wolful. You need to know why is it this way. Tell me. And this breeds this independent mind. And in my view of religion, I would find it hard to discuss religion without discussing. The Norwegian culture is in a way, I mean, blended with religion. Because, for example, in my opinion, I believe the core of religion is love and service. But Norwegians are not the people who are so much into this visible religion.
Yeah.
And I've had discussions, and of course, at one point we've disagreed when someone boldly says Europeans are not religious.
Yeah.
And my question is always is, what is the core of religion? What is the ultimate goal of a religious journey?
Yeah.
And in my observation, I find that Norwegians do not go so much to church, but surprisingly, unfortunately enough, they are living within the core of religion, which is love. Back home, religion at times is more of what people think. To those who go to church on Sunday, I've actually realized that there are those that go to church even when they don't feel so. There are those who are just pushed by, what do they say? They know I'm a pastor, they know I'm a church, they know I'm this. So you realize that religion should be more of your connection with God. But when you lower it to what Tom will say, then you'll be more or less a pagan. It sounds funny, but I think so. Because religion has nothing to do with what my dad thinks, what my friend thinks. Maybe several cases where I have to inspire someone. That's a different case. And then Norwegians do not go so much to church, but as when it comes to charity, when it comes to acts of kindness, there is a popular saying here in Norwegian. It is ta vare på hverandre. Take care of one another.
Yeah.
And I've at least listened to 2 of the king's speeches. That's a core phrase. And it's a phrase in the Norwegian society. Kids find it just natural to live it. So, in a nutshell, what we read in the Bibles, what we put so much emphasis on in religion, it's what the Norwegian child is brought up with. So I'm not trying to assert that it is okay to live with acts of kindness and not go the other line of spirituality. So the two have to match. But of course, maybe if you ask me, what is it that is lacking in the Norwegian culture or religious life, I'll tell you that they are very good when it comes to acts of kindness, but maybe not so many go an extra mile of bridging that connection with God. But of course, they will argue it out that, yeah, God, of course, there are so many discussions about that.
Moses, your things, they're very scientific.
Yeah,
They're very scientific.
very scientific.
But anyway, for me,
Mm.
some other things that I've really learned here is one thing people here in Denmark,
Mm-hmm.
they enjoy every moment.
Yeah.
They enjoy the moment they have because tomorrow is not guaranteed. How? Here we have 4 different seasons. So when it is winter, people will work and work in the winter period because that is what they have, and they'll dress up that way. And when it is summer, when the sun is out, you will see everybody. Everybody will enjoy. People will go on vacations. People will, will live. So they live the moment the way it is. And in the beginning, I didn't really understand it, but trust me, I've come to appreciate it. That yes, I need a vacation. People here every year, you have to get a vacation, go somewhere. And I think the last time we ever did it back home in Uganda, it would be maybe Christmas or Easter, and you go to the village, or go somewhere because it's Christmas. But people will go for 5 weeks vacation in a new place, and they say this year we are going here, next year they'll go here. So they enjoy the moment because tomorrow is never guaranteed. Tomorrow it will be raining. Tomorrow the weather will be is winter. Tomorrow it will be cold. So right now that it is shining, let's leave it. That's why they say the summer here, it's like it's heaven here. Everyone lives the moment. People dress the way they want. They dress as shortly as possible, as lightly as possible because they're enjoying the sun. I did when I first came here, and then I would see people like sitting in the sun, sunbathing, and I'm like, what is this? Like honestly, what does this mean? And I didn't understand it because I was coming from a society where we
Where
had
you
the
have
sun
sun all year,
all,
where you have
all
the
year
sun
in.
all year round, yeah.
So I know, and 2 years later on, I was doing the same thing. I was going out when the sun was coming out, when the sun was out with a mat just to sit there and enjoy that moment. So for me, that is one other thing that I've really learned. And then a few disadvantages. I'll say maybe because of time, I'll say like 2 disadvantages. One, I'll call it, I don't know whether it's being stingy with my money or knowing the value of my money. I'll honestly,
Maybe the second one.
yeah, maybe, yeah, I'll say but people back home they'll say we are stingy with our money. I think because
And that remains their opinion.
yeah, for me, I think it's because you know the value of your money, and it's just people even back home they also work, they do the same things, and then they get the money. But then I don't know, there's a difference between them and us. I don't know why. Viewers will tell us. Our viewers will tell us. But then, honestly, here let me say you'll get 1,000 Danish kroner. That's like 550 some Ugandan shillings, 1,000, and then you give it to a person back home. But it will be like you've given your whole day's wage to a person back home. So you would want the value for that money, and yet it is not the same thing I had while I was back home. So somehow somehow the society has taught me to know the value of my money. Even when I buy something, even when I give people back home, somehow you know the value. You don't have to be mean with your money, you don't have, but then you know the value. So you plan actually. Somehow you even plan for your money, you know. And lastly, for me, my last point would be the society is a little bit antisocial. Everyone has got a different opinion and the opinion about this. But for me, I'll give an example. When I was growing up in Uganda, you knew all your neighbors, you knew everything that they were doing. You guys knew each other, but somehow here people mind their own business. People, you will know I'll know my neighbor here. I'll know maybe their name because I see it on their doors. And the only thing I'll say hello to each other, hi, and that's it. And then you will never enter their house. You will never really get to know their business, like Somehow that's so sad. And so you end up living in an area, let me say, for 10 years, and you know nothing about each other. Someone dies somewhere, and then not like you don't know that someone, a neighbor died there. You don't know your neighbors here. You don't know. So which is for me, a little bit. Of course, some I understand. I now appreciate it, but then it was difficult for me. Like when I was starting up here. I don't know for you. What do you think?
No, actually, on that, I also believe the same.
Yeah.
But just like I always believe that life is a debate. Sometimes you're surprised at how someone perceives something.
Yeah.
I have two Norwegian friends who have built contacts with that they can freely express their opinion,
Yeah.
even when they are against Africa. And I also do the same. Of course, in a discussion, trying to put out those things that I would probably copy from Africa and implement here or sell to Norwegians. I pointed out the same. I actually made a very indirect statement that if togetherness had a monetary value,
Yeah.
Uganda would be more like Norway. Because you find a lot of warmth, togetherness, teamwork, unity in living as a team, doing things communally,
Yeah.
which you rarely find in Norway.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, that boosts a lot of things in life. The esteem, the sense of belonging, the feeling of being loved, and of course the like. And of course, this guy was in agreement and said, yeah, we really understand. And of course, we've in integration with different people from Africa, Asia, we've realized that we miss out on a lot in that line. However, he reiterated by saying that we were once like you. But if you guys in Uganda had a social system that takes care of you when you have no job,
Yeah.
if you had an operating police system, if you had an operating medical health system, if you had operating systems in Uganda, trust me, you would somehow start living like us.
Mm.
You're more together, you live communally because you're only guarding the future. You probably believe that when I lose someone, it will be so much depressing and maybe even creates a lot of grief, a little more grief if I'm only alone and maybe my family members. And probably
Yeah.
I'll need friends. So then you have to be nice to people because you know someday you need them. When it comes to job connections, because you do not live in a streamlined system, you need to make friends that will even get you in, even when you're not qualified.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to make chains of connections that you corrupt to go somewhere. But if you trust your system, if you know that when I lose a job, the system will take care of me. If you know that getting a job should be on merit, I'll not need to make good friends with Tom because I know he will give me a favor. So his argument is more like that we live that way, that Norwegians were once also that way, too polite, too communal in doing things. But apparently, because they are living in a system that is more independent, you and and the police, you and the social fund organization, you, if in case you should lose someone, you know who to contact.
Mm.
Because you're close family members, you don't need your friend you went to school with. That's how the system operates. Of course, he wasn't bragging or trying to deny that this is the reality, but he was only showing me that
Mm.
who knew that during the corona period things would be like this. But apparently, in Uganda, we've come to realize that you can attend a burial ceremony. People less than 100 and it's done. We've also come to realize that even when Freedom City is closed, life moves on. So I think it's more, he attributes it more to development and, of course, changes in society. But of course, I also agree with you that if there is one thing, I think Uganda is better off than Norway. It's about that togetherness, doing things together. I find it strange that at times you may not actually have this kind of network that we would call a royal network. But of course, when I'm discussing Norway, I put exemptions of certain groups of people. I've met Norwegians who live like Africans in Norway. But so my views are generally about Norway in general. But there are those exemptions.
Yeah, for me, in conclusion, because I know we are out of time and we have to be out of here. For me, my last point will be: trust me, there's so many different aspects between the diaspora and back home, and there are very many characteristics that we learn when we come here that we didn't know back home, and everyone has got their own personal lessons, and some may be similar, some may be different, and others actually some of them are even still learning. We are still learning. We are still in a process, and if we were to sit down here, the topic will have.
Of course, it's a broad one.
It's a very broad one.
It's
there
a
are
broad
very
one.
many different ones, and would even invite people, and everyone would give you their different, lessons. So for me, in conclusion, is Lawrence. As I conclude, I'll just tell people is that be willing to learn, be willing to adjust a little bit here and there, for you to be able to live in these countries wherever you are peacefully and being able to enjoy that place. For me, those are my points. Those are my opinions. And till next time.
Yes, thank you, Tom. As I also wind up, I'll just spot out these two aspects, or actually 3, 4. Open-mindedness should be key. The aspect of flexibility, as Tom has pointed out, is paramount. We often have people we admire in life, but I've taught myself to admire openly, of course, if it is within my means. This I've learned from Norwegians. Give a credit where it's due and learn to accept defeat. It is from that we actually learn from the people we think are better than us, than trying to pull someone down, bring about all this negative energy, 52 megawatts on someone. And then try to be real to yourself. Yesterday I attended a wedding, and it was so amazing. It's a young couple that really picked out that picture of be yourself, live within your means. The core of the wedding is between you and your wife, you and your husband. So live within your means, be flexible in life. And then, of course, this popular saying that if you want to keep your knowledge from Africans, put it in books. I want to appeal to you, my African, my Ugandan friends, that it's never too late. We can pick up this idea of reading. You may not need to read novels. Reading is a broad word. Go to the internet. Try to search info by yourself.
Yeah.
It helps you detach yourself from the gossip group. For some of the information we live with, it is based on gossip. I've met Ugandan friends here. The information is actually available here about the systems, the government, different government parastatals. You can just Google about anything, but people live on gossip. And then there is this human and natural aspect of blaming. Generally, humans, white or black, we are blamers in nature, but it's only the degree that varies. But with us, particularly Ugandans, we are good blamers. We shall always find an excuse for anything. We shall always have a reason to say someone did ABCD. So can we try to reduce that excuse magnitude in our life? Can we try to reduce that energy we put in blaming others? Own up. A typical Norwegian child will stand to clear up, to own up for the mess created. So there is always a lot. This is a very broad topic, so we only hinted on a few things. And of course, it's a discussion. I want to believe that someone watching us out there thinks that 70% of what we are saying is wrong. Respect that and only invite your opinion, because in so doing, we learn from you as well. Thank you for watching us. We want to thank our production team and our viewers. We want to request you and ask you to keep watching Euroforum. Share the video if you find it relevant to share, and of course, keep with us. Thank you.
Thank you.